Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking again at Vcarve Pro. I'm actually using 11.006 version, but if I'm being honest, I still have version 10.5, which is what I originally purchased here. Now, because I purchased 10.5 within a very short time span and then releasing 11, I got an automatic upgrade to 11. However, I would say that this piece of software is not coming without its teething issues. So at face value, anyone who's seen version 10.5 or version 10 that most people seem to be running now, you'll notice at face value it's exactly the same. It is literally exactly the same layout and everything, and look, it will tell you that there's a new version available. So for anyone who's not able to get that version, I sort of do and sort of don't feel sorry for you, because this is definitely coming with its own set of teething issues. For starters, it's saying I'm offline, but you can clearly see there I've got internet access, blah blah blah, list goes on and on. So what we're going to look at today is a platform 9 3/4 sign that somebody's asked me to make for him. So this is off the back of one of my Instagram posts where I purchased some Harry Potter fonts and Harry Potter house emblems and symbols from someone that very clever that made on Etsy. Somebody asked me for a platform 9 3/4 sign. So I've done that for them. Now what I'm actually going to be using is a piece of wood effect anthracite coloured MDF 18mm plinth left over from the kitchen. So the offcut I have is what I've made this to is 1500 long, and the sign we're going to actually be making is 1364mm end to end, like that really matters, and the letter width is around about 20mm. So I've saved you. So again, see what's going on there. So as you can see, 21.97, so it's thereabouts 22mm letters, which I think will look quite nice. And we're left with around about sort of 10mm space in top and bottom of the actual plinth. And the tool path I've asked for is just gonna come around and clip the edges of this plinth. So what I may do is I may make this fractionally bigger, just so it doesn't quite touch that plinth. So what I've done is I've selected just this square section, and I'm going to go back into the square generator. So that originally was what we're looking at, it was 1364mm is what it actually ended up as, and I want that to be 155 across the y-axis. So if I press create, that's given me a whole brand new square. Lovely. Right, okay, so we can work with that, that's not a problem. Oh, I always end up doing this, so close that, delete that one, and I don't know why now I selected this one, it's not just actually applying it to this shape. It probably has something to do with the radiuses. I want a 75mm radius, and then what we can do is we can select this. I can then hold the shift key down and select this one as well, open this up. Now we will center the two together. Okay, so you notice our new one is fractionally older than the big one. Select that, press delete, and that is our new tool path. Okay, so if I ask it to cut on the outside of the sign, what we're actually going to do is miss this by sort of 5mm, and I think we can probably actually get a bit better than that. So let's do this and go back to the square status. Now you notice it states as apply, so I can actually apply whatever we're doing to this. So 152.5, there we go. And the fact that it's centered, that should have auto-centered then off of the sides. Yeah, so we're going to bypass these sides by 2.5mm. That will give us an ever so slight sort of angle on the radius here. But the reason I've done this is we're going to have some holes at either end then, just to sort of mount this. So that's the only real last part of the toolpath I need to do. So what we'll do now is we'll make that, say 40 by 40 square edge, apply. Oh, I know what I've just done. 40 by 40, create that there. What we can do is we can use that 40 by 40 then, just to give us some sort of space in regards to where our holes are going to be. So what I want to do is I want to generate a hole somewhere in the diameter of about 5mm, and we'll create it there. Okay, so I can actually zoom all the way out now. I've created that hole. I've selected our square and hold down the shift key, select the outer circumference, hold this one, and you notice that's just pinged it straight up to the end, matching exactly where I wanted it. Now again, we've got the circle, we've got a 5mm hole. You notice the snap feature is bringing us up this little crosshair with the dotted line running through the center of that square. So I press that, and again it's going to give me that hole perfectly spaced. Okay, so I've got a perfectly spaced hole down here, perfectly spaced hole down here, and the only thing I can see is where we've shuffled around with these squares, it has slightly knocked all this out of center. So what we'll do is we will select the outer circumference, we will select that little 5mm hole, that little 5mm hole, press G for shortcut G on the keyboard, and to be honest, all it really took was just to bring it in just one click maybe. So you can hold Control. Control will give you some very fine movements as you press up and down on the directional arrows on your keyboard. You can hold Shift and that will give you much bigger passes, or you can just hold the arrow and that will give you press the directional keys and that will just give you some medium passes. But I think sort of at face value that looks pretty good. So I think we'll go with that. So what we've got left to do now is actually generate the tool paths. Now this is where I've been having the most amount of problems with Vcarve Pro. So what I'm finding is you actually have to create a toolpath, save that toolpath off as one toolpath on its own. So every single operation is one toolpath on its own. Whereas I used to be able to say create like a bulk amount of toolpaths is anything that had the same tool, whether it was profiles, whether it was pockets, it didn't really matter. Okay, whereas obviously now I'm noticing that I'm having distinct issues. So we know we've got the thinnest part. Just measure that off here, there to there, 7.59, so just shy of sort of 8mm going across here. Something like a 5mm cutter would work out absolutely perfect. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to V-carve this into the MDF. So if I select all of this, which again I've grouped all of these items together, okay, using the shortcode of G on your keyboard, and I'm going to go with my trusty trend ROTA-TIP, which is a 90-degree V-carve. Okay, we've got a spindle speed of 24,000. I'm happy with that. Feed rate, I'm going to go for 1200mm a minute feed rate. I've heard of people going a lot higher. The maximum diameter across this cutter is 17mm. Okay, like I said, the angle actually works out to be 90 degrees. Okay, so it's 45 degrees to the center of the cutter. 90 degrees going that way. Final pass will take off 0.34. I'm going to take a maximum cut depth. Let's change that to 5mm. Okay, so we're going to apply those settings to the cutter, what we've asked it for. We're going to press select. So, in theory, we can now look at the idea of creating a clearance pass. Now, for that clearance pass, I'm going to hog the majority of it out with a terribly cheap straight 6mm by 20mm Toolstation twin fluted router bit, basically a very cheap router bit. Don't mind if I snap these, it really doesn't bother me. So that's a 6mm in diameter, 2 flutes. We're going to go for a cut and pass depth of 2.5mm per pass. I think that's fine. Step over a 2.5mm. So again, let's change that to a 50% step over, because the V cutter is going to come in and do all the nice cleaning up. So maybe we can even push it to a 60% cut over. Step over a 3.6mm. Spindle speed of 23,000. and a feed rate of 1200. Now from experience I'm going to lower that to 1000 because I can always adjust it up slightly on the machine. Okay, we'll apply those settings and select that. So what we should have is when we press calculate is 2 separate tool passes. So what we've got here is I want a ramp, and I want it to be a 10mm feed into the ramp. The ramp would be basically as the cutter comes into motion, so the cutter is going to travel across this way, it will come down as a ramp into that. Slightly slower, but actually for the type of cutter I've got in there, that's much happier. Okay, so I think we're pretty much. So font Vcarve is what we will name this. So we press calculate. That's going to give us two distinctly different carves. So if we look at just the clearance pass, and we'll reset that, I'm going to ask us to play. That's effectively what it's going to look like. So don't know why it's not going to touch the center, unless that is, maybe that is a pocket. We'll have a look at the Vcarve itself. We'll press play on that. Preview all toolpaths. Okay, so what that's going to do is give us that 90-degree piece in the bottom, and for some reason we've got a flat bottom on here, so let's go and have a look. Flat bottom of 3mm. So let's take away the flat bottom, and it will probably tell me that the material is not deep enough. Sorry, not thick enough. Oh, I don't know. It's only 18mm stock, so let's just make sure. I mean, that looks pretty phenomenal, let's be honest. So let's just make sure that we've already told it that it's an 18mm thickness. Okay. So the fact that is accepting that at no flat depth. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at, say, creating a flat depth at 15mm. Let's see what that does for us. Let's zoom right in here. So I wish there was a way, unless I'm being completely daft, but I wish there was a way of it telling you what height it's going to end up with. Sorry, what depth that's going to end up with. Yeah, couldn't tell you. Okay, so we're going to calculate that. So if we press play and ask it to show us, I mean, that's pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. Right, so what we're going to look at next then is we go back to the 2D plan. We're going to have a look at, in fact, let's save that as a G-code. Save that off first. So we'll have to, again, save these as two completely separate files. So CNC plan, G-code files, new folder. No. So I'll just save it as platform. Right, so we've got font Vcarve clearance, clear 1, and on the end of that we will put, if I can spell right, so we've got font Vcarve clear 1 platform, and that's what it will look like then when it goes over to the Yeti. And then we'll save this toolpath, and then we will have right, hang on a minute. And I think because that was blue, that's the bit it's actually going to want to save. And this, I think this is where I've been having the problems. So font Vcarve, yeah, font Vcarve platform, save. Okay, this is a one-off sort of piece. I'm not going to be replicating this, so I'm not too worried about adding in all the tools and all the rest of it, because you know it's enough that I can remember. So we've got 6mm cutter here, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to ungroup these tool paths. Okay, and I want to select, oops, hold shift down. Remember, I've selected one. I need to hold shift down now and then select the other, and what you'll see now is I have both of them selected at the same time. Okay, I can press G and you'll see that they've changed now to a solid line because they're grouped together. Okay, now for this tool path I'm going to be doing a inside the line. How is this going to work? I'm just going to do it as a pocket, 18.5mm deep, 8.5. Use that straight cutter. See what it says. The following toolpath. No, it's an empty toolpath because I've asked for a 5mm hole and I've got a 6mm cutter. So. Oh, I know what I have got. I've got some 4mm cutters. So let's go for. Make sure I still got those selected. Yep. So I'm going to go for a pocket cut again, and I will change that to a terribly cheap Toolstation, absolutely terrible cheap cutter in a 4mm. We'll remove the 6mm from here. It doesn't matter what sort of type of cut. And yep. And yep, we want it to cut for our material. That'd be ideal if you could. So we're going to take away all of these. Okay, and then we're going to press save on this toolpath. Now we've got screw holes. And I'm going to put 4mm on there as just a reminder to change over to a 4mm bit. And the last toolpath is going to be this outer cut. So we want that as a profile cut. We're going to cut on the outside of the line. We are going to do that as a climb cut. So we would be cutting this way round instead of a conventional which goes this way round. We are going to add some tabs. So I've been having, again, a lot of issues with tabs in regards to thickness, and I think I've just noticed what the problem is. 3D tabs. That's where I've been having the issue, because it gives you such a tiny little bit, especially something soft like an MDF. It's pointless. So thickness, length of unselected 3D tabs. We're going to ask it to edit tabs. Fact. Do I need them 10mm thick anymore on a 9mm? So let's go for, I don't know, 8mm, 15mm length, who knows. Right, edit tabs. And I'm going to add a tab, tab, and tab this end. Okay, so I've got a fix in here on my board, and I've got a fix in here, just sort of fixed into the spoil board. So again, we're going to go tab, tab, and tab. Hopefully, like I said, screw up here into my spoil board, and a screw down here. Okay, so that should be enough then with those 3 tabs just to keep that in place while it does the profile cut. Do a separate last path. Why not? Allowance, say 0.3 of a mil. Okay, and this would be outer edge cut. Okay, so once you understand all of the different sort of features that Vcarve has, you can really use it to work in your advantage. Oh, one thing we didn't look at was the depth of cut. 18.5 is what we'll go for. Yes, it will cut through my material. That's exactly what I would like. So what we can do is we can select all the toolpaths here. Okay, so that's the one I've pressed there. Oop, yep, that's the one I pressed there. I always press reset preview. What we can do is we can press preview all toolpaths, and it will run us through all the toolpaths. Now, if I didn't have any tabs, what I can actually do is double click on the waste, and it removes the waste for you, so you just see physically what you're left with. So on a big project covering a lot of screen, that'd be fantastic. But anytime you add tabs, you click on it, you get this warning message. Okay, and the warning message is basically saying, I find it so difficult to zoom in from this preview. So what it's actually saying is that these tabs Let's see if we can pull this round a bit for you. There we go. Nope, still can't zoom into it. These tabs here effectively are creating a bridge, yeah? But that's what our sign's going to end up looking like. I hope the lucky person who gets it is going to be happy with it. It's something I've just kind of really made up on my own. So, now we're going to look at saving this toolpath. Yep, so I've selected that in blue. Now again, I can't seem to get rid of this blue. I don't know if it's something I'm doing, something I'm not doing. I don't know, but I can't really seem to get rid of this blue. But what I'm finding is whatever is selected in blue. Okay. All sheets. I don't know. Can't get rid of this blue. But what I'm finding is, no matter what you select here, okay, when it comes to saving off your toolpaths, you can select all those three, and what it'll actually do is it will save 3 individual toolpaths, all doing that, and that's it. And I can't get rid of it. So I find it really frustrating. So what we're going to do is we're going to select what's pocket 1? Ooh, what was pocket 1? Got screw holes, got outer edges. Pocket 1. Straight 6mm deep toolpath. Close. I don't think we're using that. That was the one that had the hollow toolpath for drilling a 5mm hole with a 6mm bit. So outer edge cut. So this is the one we want. I will tick that, but at the same time I've got it saved there in blue. And we're going to go to save toolpath again. Now what we're going to go for is outer edge cut platform. So when it goes over to the machine, I'm looking for all the ending text. It's in platform, but obviously this one. And I'm going to be doing it in the order of Vcarve clear, Vcarve, screw holes, outer edge cut. Okay. So Yeti comes with this fantastic piece of software, which is their transfer tool. Okay, so I'm going to select my Smartbench. What it does, it brings you up this screen here. I'll go into my G-code files and platform. And what you can actually do is you can select, holding shift down, using the directional arrows on your keyboard. I'm going to select all 4 toolpaths, and I'm going to drop them into the transfer window. And what you'll find now is all files have gone across. Now that I've recorded, you can hear me talking, that I've recorded in real time. So you can see how fast that's taken across. In all fairness, they're all very small files. You know, they're not big files, but that's taken across very, very quickly. So we'll head over to the machine now, and we'll do some cutting. See you in a moment. Hey guys, so we are over at the Smartbench now. Going to be looking at cutting the platform 9 3/4 text into this wood effect plinth. I don't know if you can see it. It's a foil wrapped MDF. Has actually got a stamped wood grain effect in it. It's really nice stuff actually. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these outer edges once it's done, just to sort of finish it off. So this is going to be our X and Y 0. Okay, and I've already set the Z axis for the height, but I am expecting it to tell me that I've set this too high. So let's have a little look. So I've set the beam, the X beam, 6mm off of this surface. So it's not actually in contact with the surface in any way, because I don't want the little wheels to risk marking the surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to come along here. I'll just move you back slightly. We're going to come along here, and I'm going to attempt to position the laser. Now, I don't know if the camera can see it, so with my very shaky hands, I'm going to bring you across. Now, what we're looking for is this laser to be bang on to the outer edge. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to press on the control panel, set X and Y datum. So what that's now done is it's brought the cutter over the corner. Okay, don't know if you can see my little fingertip. It's brought the cutter over this corner now to the centre of the cutter, now centre of our X and Y datum. So that's dead smart off of that laser. I absolutely love the laser. So we're going to go now into our files, And the first one we are looking for is platform V clear platform. So we should, once we find them, find all of the platform files together, I should imagine. This is all the files I've got on here. I need to have a bit of a clean out. Okay, so at this stage, I found my file, which is the font Vcarve Clear Platform 1 G-code. I'm going to press yes, that's a tick. Now what it's doing is it's preparing the file, and I'm going to ask it to check for any errors. Now on this file, I didn't actually ask it to put the white light on, so we've still got the green light, but Aaron and the guys at Yeti have managed to get everything in place for me to actually change all the lights to green, which I find a lot easier to see the cuts, and I find it a lot better for filming. However, I'm not going to lie, I clean forgot to do it. So now we've got the file loaded, I'll bring you to a screen here, I hope you can see that properly, where it's actually showing you where the workpiece is in comparison to the Y bench, which I think that's a brilliant piece of engineering in itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to press play down here to say that we're happy for it to start, and we understand. Now we've got a depth of cut here, so as you can see we've got our feed speed and we've got our spindle speed. We can up and down adjust that sort of as the job's running. So it's just going to turn this off down. Okay, so we just finished the 6mm clearing pass, and what we've got is a lot of fluffing on the edges. As you can see, that literally just pulls off. Okay, so it doesn't look much at the moment because all that is literally done is create the stepped clearances down, ready for the V-bit to go in. But as you can see, it actually comes out alright. When it first started cutting, I could see it was fluffing this bad. I was a little bit concerned. As you can see, it's done virtually nothing of the 9 3/4, and obviously our tool paths, hopefully going to come around here and miss that, hopefully. So give this a little bit of a clean up, just bear with me, trying to do this one-handed. So this is a cracking idea of mine, Hoover on remote control. so there we go, there's the dust port connection for the actual smart bench. Sort that in a minute. Right, so for a disgustingly cheap, not worried if I snap, 6mm Silverline cutter from Toolstation. I didn't want to say the brand, this that cheap. Hasn't actually done too bad a job, and I've done quite a lot of processing with this bit actually. Start to see the tip itself is starting to discolour and maybe burn slightly, so for the price of it I'll probably just be mad. So you say console's telling me that the job is complete, and then we can go back and we can load the next job. But before we do that, obviously I need to change over to the second spindle. This second spindle has got the ROTA-TIP V bit in. I absolutely love all these different cutters where you can replace the carbide tips. So bear with me 1 second, I will just swap that over. So Smartbench comes supplied with one of the adjustable ball end type Allen screws, Allen keys, unplug communication cable and the power cable, slide it out, and as promised, slightly burnt, terribly cheap, crap little twin flute cutter, but credit where credit's due, it's done its job. Done actually quite a lot of cutting with that cutter, I'm quite impressed. So 90° V-tip. So with these spindles, you can actually press them at the back and they've actually got power off. And I've done that a couple of times by accident. As the machine's powered up, it's not actually them powering the spindle up. So that can lead to a few bum twitchy moments if you're not careful. So we'll drop the new spindle in. Turn it so the red button is in line with this beam. That means the vents can then breathe outside of the machine and keep the machine nice and cool. Do this up, and as Yeti say, when it gets sort of to the point where you can feel it grip, turn a quarter of a turn past, and that's tight. Okay, and that works out as so many newtons if you really care that much. Don't ask me how many newtons though, probably. There we go, so we just plug back in the comms cable and the power cable. Now, at this stage, you always have to remember, you're going to have to reset the Z-axis because we've got a new tool, a different height. So we set it to infinity mode. Now, one of the biggest selling points about Yeti to me was built-in touch plate. So we bring the Z head down till the tool is, you know, fairly close to the workpiece. Slide in the attachment then. That brings the cutter down fractionally until it touches the touch off plate, and that sets the height. Now even from there you probably saw the light flash green then to say that it recognises this. Now the only last thing I need to worry myself about is if I've got enough depth on the Z head and the tool to actually reach to the bottom of these Vcarves. So again, we come in, we select the file we want, brings us to our tiny right in that my chubby fingers struggles with. So we want font Vcarve platform. Press that one. Font Vcarve platform. Happy with that? Yeah. Press the green tick. Now we're checking the job for any errors. At this stage I always give the machine a little bit of a check over, and it's always worth looking inside of this dust port at the back to make sure we're not sort of harbouring any crap in there. So it's checked 70% of the job, it's all quite happy so far. Okay, finish. Now it's worth mentioning as well that if I go back on this screen at this point, it used to show me what I was looking at. Since I've changed over to version 11, Vcarve Pro version 11, it doesn't show me on the screen anymore what file it is I'm even looking at. So again, when it starts giving you the wrong G code because of possibly that blue highlighted writing, it's really frustrating. Okay, so there you have it, guys. That is platform 9 3/4 Vcarve out. Now I went for a slight step over on the final pass as a clean up. Now, one thing I wasn't aware of is I've been left with these wetness marks. Now I know why I've been left with these wetness marks. It's because this is a ROTA-TIP tip on this cutter. So this cutter is not as big, you know, it doesn't go up the, you know, say there's your cutter. I've got a little tip on the end. I don't have a full V tip on it. So the machine's assuming I do. It doesn't know that. So obviously it's left these witness marks in places. To be honest, if this is painted, then it's not going to detract too much anyway. That will all just blend in. You won't see that at a distance. So now we're going to drill out for the little holes in the end for that to be screwed to the wall. So bear with and I'll just get those done. Oh, so there you have it, guys. Job complete. So that is our platform 9 3/4 done. So if you look right down in there, you can see our tabs, tab, tab, tab. So you'll also notice that I had to move the screws. So I actually applied the screws below the surface by a few mil. When I'd done the first pass, it was actually just gently over cutting on the screws. So bit of terror. Quickly get those moved. Look, that one was just as, well, not quite as bad, but still. What do you think? I think that's Vcarve really well. So I'll just move this over here. Right, so I'll just home that properly. Okay, so there's your rounded edges. There is your screw holes. 9 3/4 platform. Screw hole, radius edge. And that literally just skimmed these edges. The cutter was just skimming these edges, missing them by sort of 2.5 mil. Now, I did ask this to cut 18.5 millimeters through. You'll notice, if I can get the light right, just on this edge, it's just skimmed. So it hasn't even touched my spoil board. So it is fractionally out on the Z. However, I'm not complaining. That's pretty spot on. So, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to demount this now from the spoil board and just use a flush cut router bit then to trim off these ends and trim off these tabs. Then I'll take it down the house and try to stop the kids from stealing it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Cheers guys. Bye bye.